Good morning and welcome into another episode of NBC 16 Sports Talk. Obviously, this is not Zach Burrell.
Obviously not.
No.
I think Zach grew a couple inches of hair.
Yes. No, we're joined this morning by Briana Chavez. We're going to talk a little bit just about the sports slate for this weekend. First of all, we got to talk about the weather. I had to put my jean jacket on today because it is so beautiful outside, which is going to be perfect for the Oregon baseball and softball that we have on the schedule for this weekend. So give the viewers a little update about what can we expect this weekend as we head out to the ballpark.
Let me just preface by saying nothing says spring sports like 60 degrees and sunny skies at PK Park and the Jane. I mean, come on. It's going to be a beautiful weekend actually in store for us. The first half, of course, though, but we are going to get a couple of rain showers on and off come Saturday, late night into Sunday, but it's not going to be anything drastic as far as accumulation is concerned. So people got nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I think
good old spring day.
Oregon fans know by now that you got to be able to prepare for both. You're going to have your sunny days. You're going to have your rainy days at PK Park, but all that
100%.
matters is Ducks get the win.
The Ducks get the win. We pack the Jane and we head out to PK Park as well.
Yes. So Oregon softball, their home opener this week. They're coming off a 5-0 weekend at the Marionetta Classic for the first time since 2020. So the Ducks right now are rolling headed into their home opener this weekend. So they're going to start today hosting San Diego at the Jane. That game starts at 3:30 p.m. So you can go ahead this afternoon. Get in at 2 games today, so that'll be really exciting. And then Oregon baseball, another 4-game series against Columbia. Coming off another 3-1 weekend, able to get the series win, but still that one loss kind of lingering in there. Yes, and the Ducks able to get a Saturday doubleheader win. Their first game, Briana, was a 1-0 win.
Okay.
Next game, the score is 19-12. I know you're a big baseball fan.
I am.
What game would you rather watch? Would you rather watch the game with all of the strikeouts, all of the cleanouts, or would you rather just watch them hit home run, home run, home run?
This might be controversial for some people, but I actually like the strikeouts. I love the tension that builds up when it comes to, okay, bases loaded, we've got full count, or we've got runners at the corners, and you could maybe get that run. So for all we know, there was more excitement in that 1-0 game than the other 19-12 game.
Now that you mention that, I honestly think I might agree. As fun as it is,
watching a home run derby or a baseball game,
right? To watch someone, especially like when you're down, get that home run, get a grand slam, like that's always really exciting. But also the feeling when you're right, bases loaded, pitcher comes off, gets the strikeout to retire the inning, coming off the mound, they're fired up. Like that is
getting
such
that
an exciting
double play
feeling
to end off the inning with bases loaded. Oh, it gets the adrenaline going when you go into the next inning. I love those kind of games a lot more.
Me too. And it's even better when the sun is out. It's
got
beautiful.
your hot dog
in
baseball
hand.
hat on.
Yes.
Perfect weather for it.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll see a couple more fans out at PK Park and also the Jane this weekend too. Plenty of games to get to, which is really, really exciting. But moving on to basketball now. The Ducks, they're coming off a win on Senior Day against Rutgers. Filipina Che with a career day, a double-double with 20 points and a career-high 25 rebounds. But now Oregon is headed up to Seattle to face rival Washington in the final game of the Big Ten season. It's crazy to think that the end of the conference season is already here. The Ducks barely beat the Huskies by just 2 points the last time that they faced him.
At least we beat them.
Yes, at Matthew Knight Arena. I know you're an Oregon grad.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the Huskies?
I guess in the good old wise words of Troy Dye, got to do the dubs down. Is what I got to say. But that's just me being an Oregon fan. I think with basketball, it's the same thing. Anything that brings in a good game, and when it is kind of like something really tight with basketball, one score can make a really big difference.
Yeah, and I think a win over Washington for the women's basketball team could really propel them into the Big Ten tournament, which could be a lot right now. Right now, ESPN bracketology projects them as the 9 seed in the South Bend Regional over at Notre Dame. So, you know, a really big win against Washington, against their rival. A lot of momentum emotionally, mentally, physically heading into the Big Ten tournament. Could mean a lot for this team. But the Oregon men's basketball team, the Ducks coming off a upset at number 11 Wisconsin in overtime. Briana, I was telling the viewers last week how my dad his family is a pretty diehard Wisconsin. He even went to Wisconsin for the game to watch it with my family, and I was on the phone with him as the Ducks went into overtime. And my grandma, she loves the Ducks, but also loves the Badgers. But my dad said she was wearing all of her Oregon gear, but she was cheering for the Badgers. So she wants to be an Oregon fan so bad, but maybe that overtime win.
The intention is there.
Yeah, the intention is definitely there, but I think she wants to be a Duck at heart, but she's a Badger. But anyways, great win for them. Oregon is currently projected as the 5th seed in the NCAA tournament. The Ducks right now are just playing their best and most consistent basketball of the season, which is where you want to go heading into March Madness. But before we get to March Madness, we talk about some brackets. OSU men's and women's basketball. Also, the Beavers trying to get the highest seeds that they can in the WCC tournament. March Madness right around the corner. Do you fill out a bracket? I feel like you're competitive, so I feel like this definitely is a yes.
I am definitely competitive at heart. I mean, growing up, being a cheerleader in high school, competition season, my parents did not recognize who I was when it came to competition season. And I think it kind of now carries over into things like a March Madness bracket, or when we've got those college football playoff brackets as well. And I used to be very, very, I would dive into it wholeheartedly and just do my research on every single team that was in the bracket.
So you're doing your research. You're not picking teams based off mascots or names or
the
colors.
Pretty colors, or if their school colors actually match or not. No, I am doing my research on it. And sometimes you never know. The #1 team always ends up in 4th place, or you just never know what could happen. So I like to dive deep into it.
Do you like to watch because of all the upsets?
Yeah, I think that it kind of goes back to the same thing like with baseball. It makes it more interesting.
Yeah.
I like a little bit more of an interesting game. If we got someone who blocks a really good play and, then there's an upset, love it.
Yeah, that's the one thing I love about March Madness too, is you could fill out a bracket and try and predict what upsets, but there's always one that you never see coming. And the Cinderella stories are the most fun. And also too, we got high school basketball playoffs right here. Right now, 1A, 2A, 3A are in action. When you look back on your high school experience, what do you remember most about high school sports, being in the playoff, going to state?
Well, see, I grew up in a school that was so small, we did not have a football field. Our grass field was only the size of a lacrosse field, which is way smaller than a football, and even slightly smaller than a soccer field. So we didn't even have a lacrosse team until my senior year. Our biggest sport was basketball. As a cheerleader, best believe basketball was just everything that I dedicated my life to during high school, and I loved everything about it. So for me, it was always that rivalry game was the make or break in the season, and that was what mattered the most to us, but also just knowing whether the team was going to be able to make it to that next level of the tournament round or championship round.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of teams in our areas too, there's a lot of times that even in the playoffs, you're seeing some of the other teams within their conference or within their league in the playoffs, and it's like, we got to face these guys again.
We thought we already had them, and now we got to go back for more.
I know, so I think that's really, really fun, but it's so exciting to go out to these high school games, and especially now when a state title's on the line, it's intense. This is when all the students come out and you get the big student sections.
The alumni that come back. I think there's also just something about the school spirit that comes with, and this happens with just about any sport, but really with basketball, I feel like you get a completely different crowd than what you do with high school football or even baseball, whatever it may be. I think with basketball, it really is just the entire school gets involved in one way or another.
Yeah, you got the cheerleaders, you got the band, you got the
teachers.
Yes.
Everyone's involved.
Yeah.
Even parents. I mean, quite the amount of parents do come out for a good basketball game.
Yeah, so we'll keep you updated to see which teams are heading to the state playoffs throughout the week. But that'll do it for our episode of NBC 16 Sports Talk. Thanks, Briana, and
of course.
We'll see you soon.